Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. At the moment, the economic situation in the European Union is still less than ideal. Entire industries and also many citizens are not sure if this year or next year they can still make enough money to support themselves or their businesses. And our politicians, on the other hand, they are very, very positive that we can accumulate a lot of debt right now because in the future we can easily pay it back. For this purpose, right now in Brussels, they are negotiating about the pandemic help for some southern member states or for member states in general that have been hit by this current pandemic the worst. And there is a little bit of a deadlock, a little bit of a struggle there going on in Brussels right now. It is the Frugal Four, that is Austria, Sweden, Denmark, and the Netherlands, who want to redistribute less money, and they want to force the recipients of these EU helps to implement certain reforms. This has already been done in Greece. Greece was not just bailed out, but they had to implement reforms. And at the moment, the sum is 750 billion euros. And this morning, Belgium proposed some sort of a compromise. They said that 450 billion euros should be just direct EU aid, and 300 billion euros should be a loan that the recipients would have to pay back at some point. And this is the negotiation at the moment. Then certain countries want, in return, they want a reduced contribution in the future for the EU budget. They said if we help now, then in the next years we want to pay less for the European Union as our contribution. And this is the discussion right now. So as we are all struggling, and of course, these policies, these investments, they see it as an investment, should be there, or they should be implemented in order to help the economy to start again. But a lot of people fear that this money will just disappear in some corrupt dark channels in certain countries. And of course, now in the negotiations, they want to make clear that this doesn't happen, or that they have some sort of a security in a form of a contract that if these countries want to receive that money, then they have to fulfill certain conditions or to implement some reforms, as I already said. So the EU, it is a mess. There are just too many people that want money from the few countries that are still producing something, or that are still running economically kind of well. And there is a lot of entitlement there, I would say. But of course, you all know that the Germans are not part of the Frugal group. It is not called the Frugal Five, it is just the Frugal Four. And it is kind of a weird situation, because for a long time, it was the smaller frugal countries, like I just said, these Frugal Four, who were more or less hiding behind Germany. Germany had to play the bad guy. It is like good parent, bad parent. If it was just about me, you could totally go with your friend to Disneyland, but your dad said no. Yeah, it is kind of like this. So these other countries, they were actually glad that Germany was so strict on austerity, because they also didn't want to pay. But now Germany doesn't do that anymore. Merkel doesn't care anymore where our money goes. And now these smaller countries, by the way, I haven't even heard the title Frugal Four before. But now, all of a sudden, these four... Where was I? I'm really sorry, these stupid French people with their Stupid announcements. Okay, I haven't even heard this title or this name, this group, the Frugal Four, when there was the Euro crisis. It was just Germany, Germany, Germany. And all these smaller countries, they were rather glad that they could hide behind Germany, but now they can't do that anymore. Angela Merkel doesn't care anymore, and these smaller countries have to fend for themselves now if they want to, well, keep most of their money, or if they don't want their tax money to disappear in the welfare budgets of other not so well managed states. That is just my German opinion on the whole thing. I'm sure that everybody in Europe has their own point of view and their own perspective at the moment. But yeah, that is pretty much what is going on. There was a plan before in France and Italy. They wanted, of course, the so-called Euro bonds, and that means that Europe or European countries can get money on the financial markets. They can borrow money, and they don't pay their interest rate that they would normally get with their reputation on the financial markets, but they could kind of get a pan-European interest rate, so to speak. And that would mean that also the other European countries together have to pay back those loans then. And that would just, I want to translate that now into German or English spoken by a German, and that means all the European countries could borrow money, and Germany has to basically vouch for it, and we have to pay the interest in the end if they cannot pay back their loans. That would have been the Eurobond scenario, and that has been averted. Eurobonds are not on the table anymore, but this one-time pandemic aid program. So 750 billion euros, that's a huge sum. And the larger part will not be a loan, but it will just be a direct transfer of tax money from, let's be honest here, from northern countries to southern countries. Maybe that is one of the reasons why they were so creative in inflating that infection number as they did, while other countries were not doing that so much. All right, so that's it from me. I catch you guys again later, not case, when I can. This was a little more improvised now, almost uncut. If it hadn't been for these announcements telling everyone to wear masks and social distance, when you see, of course, that there are certain people who never do that anyway. They are the same people, by the way, who always litter and who always touch everything and who break rules and laws wherever they go. They just don't care. All right. Take care and be safe wherever you are. Servus, Kameraden.